Opening Distance Learning Seminar. I'm very pleased to be here in the presence of Mr. Tsagay Gabisa, Head of the President Office from the SNU, and Dr. Misgano Salamon, Vice President of Research and International Relations in St. Mary's University. Presenters, chairpersons, rapporteurs, and of course, you the audience. Welcome again. So our session will start by the opening speech of Mr. Tsagay Gabisa, Head of the President of Office, the SMU. So without any further ado, I will give the podium to Mr. Tsagay.
Thank you, the Master of Ceremony. Dear Dr. Misgano Solomon, Vice President for Research and International Relations, participants of the conference, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you all and it gives me great honor and pleasure to be here with you to deliver opening remarks at this 11th conference on opening distance learning of the university. Dear participants, expanding educational opportunities for all citizens is a crucial task that many countries are striving to accomplish. Due to an increase in population and high demand for education and training, expanding educational opportunities to all citizens through formal education is very difficult. Open and distance learning has to be encouraged in this regard to fill this gap. Because in a rich country like Ethiopia, where access to education is not equally distributed, the importance of open and distance education is so huge and its advantages by far very large. In addition to this, in the face of scarce resources and time, open and distance learning seems as the only alternative for bridging the knowledge gap of beneficiaries who have limited time, opportunity, and capacity. It also significantly improves the quality of life of the people by making technology-mediated education accessible to the remotest corners of our country and to all those who cannot afford or able to attend regular classes. Having this in mind, St. Mary's University College of Open and Distance Learning established and became one of the prominent higher learning institutes of Ethiopia. The major goal of the college in this regard is to create educational access for disadvantaged learners, develop highly qualified and motivated human resources, and produce and transfer advanced and relevant knowledge for the socio-economic development of the country. During this half-day conference, participants will listen to 5 presentations classified under 5 subjects and expected to discuss in depth based on the contents of the papers. The presenters came from St. Mary's University, RC University, and Warabe University, aiming to contribute professional service to the sector. Dear participants, before closing, I wish to thank all the presenters, you participants, the rapporteurs of the conference and the Master of Ceremony for your academic contribution. I hope you will find today's half-day conference stimulating and productive. Thank you for your attention, and I declare the conference is officially open. Thank you very much.
So the first presenter is Dr. Malaku Girma from St. Mary's University with the title Current Trends and Practices in Open and Distance Learning, Technological Innovation in Focus. The second presenter will be Mr. Lamesgano Nagaling with the title of Distance Education, Immersed Technology as a Recent Trade from St. Mary's University. And the third presenter will be Mr. Dr. Ndalo Fufakufi from the RC University with the title of Ecological Conformity of E-Learning to Technological and Learning in Higher Education. So this will be led by the chairperson, Mr. Getachew Asrat, and the rapporteur, Mr. Ayele Leggese. So once again, I will leave the podium for these two.
All right. Dr. Malaku has touched significant numbers of innovations in distance education so far. I am going to cover, I think, the most recent trend in distance education, which is not for everybody. It is mostly for economically privileged, technologically active section of the population. but it is important to be aware of this technology. Therefore, I'll proceed and I'll have to cut significant portion of my presentation, so don't mind when I skip some slides. All right, in distance education, innovation has had significant impact over the years. For example, the invention of printing technology, the innovation of, or the postal service, the innovation of television, radio, computers, internet, and so on. All this had significant impacts on distance education. My paper has analyzed how distance education has been evolving and how immersive technologies are being a solution for the gaps of distance education, but I will skip lots of discussions in the evolution part in order to focus on my discussion of immersive technologies. Okay. So this paper discusses the stages, generations, and will try to predict the future of distance education and tries to recommend actions from distance educating institutions. And I analyzed literature, and I screened them out based on their relevance and quality. After that, I used the Atlas TI-8 software, which is a qualitative analysis tool to code and organize my data. Then I thematically tried to organize my paper. Generally, when we talk about the evolution of distance education, we can see it from 3 dimensions. There are organizational evolutions, there are pedagogical evolutions, and technological evolutions in distance education. Since my focus is on the technological, I have categorized them in 4 categories. The first one is the correspondence model, which is based on the print media, based on the postal services and other corresponding tools, and the multimedia model, which utilizes video, audio, DVDs, television, in addition to the print media, and the online learning model is the more recent one. And what I'm going to talk about immersive technologies in this paper. When I talk about immersive technologies, I'm talking about technologies that are being recently experimented on by educational institutions, mostly in Europe and the US. And to define them, Hamilton, with his co-authors, defines it as immersive technology is a multimodal technology which allows interaction with students with the virtual world, and it is, I don't know how many of you tried 3D or virtual devices, but if you can see the picture here, one of the dimensions, there are tools that can be put on the head. They are called head-mounted devices, and after putting them on, you will be able to have stereo voice that surrounds you, and you will be able to watch your surrounding in 360 degrees, and also you can interact with your environment. As this student is interacting with the sun, he can move it, he can interact with it, he can take it apart based on the software and the technologies that are being utilized. So there are multiple types of immersive devices. My focus will be mostly on head-mounted devices. Therefore, I will discuss virtual reality and augmented reality as alternatives of this newly trending technology. Let me start from the virtual reality. Virtual reality is one of immersive technologies, and when you wear it on your head, it gives you a sense of immersion. You will feel as if you are in that environment, in that it can be classroom, it can be laboratory, it can be the space, it can be some historical time. you will be feeling as if you are inside that environment, and you can be involved. You can manipulate things in that environment. If it is a laboratory, you can experiment with chemicals. If it is a library, you can move different things. And so it allows interaction between students, teachers, and with the accessories in that environment. So mostly in this environment, avatars will be selected by students. Avatar mean your cartoon-looking representation in that virtual environment. You will select what you want to look like in that virtual environment. Your teacher will have some selection, and your classmates can have that. And by those avatar-looking representations, you can interact with the environment. I will show you later what I mean. Augmented reality is, on the other hand, it is not fully immersive. It is a blend of the virtual environment and the real environment. As you can see from this picture, it uses a see-through lenses, and the students or anyone using it can see his real environment. At the same time, it will blend virtual environments, like videos can be included, texts or audio, different types of things can be. For example, these students are interacting with, I don't know if it's animal or human being body part, but they are interacting with it as if it is in front of them. So augmented reality cell, this is what I mean by augmented reality. Let me talk about the evolution of these immersive technologies. It is not very recent. Immersive technologies started from 1838, when 3D technology was invented by Charles Wheatstone. And he invented a 3D, how to see, he showed how to see a picture in 3D by a 3D device. And then the first flight simulator was invented in 1929. The Sensorama, the picture you see here is a Sensorama. This is a kind of cinema, and this person invented a motor riding experience. You will sit on the seat, and the seat will be vibrating. You will feel air in front of you. You will smell the scents of flowers, and you will experience your environment in 3D. So you will feel as if you are really in real life riding. Therefore, immersive technology has been evolving. Also in 1960, virtual reality was invented, and so on. Now, there are lots of timelines that are important, but these are the most important ones. The other thing is reduced number of risks, like in real laboratory, spilling chemical or mixing chemicals is risky. But in virtual environment, you can mix any type of chemical without risking any physical damage on yourself or on your environment. The risk is minimized. If you are a medical student, you can experiment on different type of surgeries. Without damaging anyone's physical body, because it is just virtual, or because it is just simulation. So the distance challenge is solved. You can travel by wearing that. You can learn with students in Britain, in America, anywhere. You can travel to see geographies in Europe or Americas, and so on. The other thing is you can learn by different styles. Visual, there is audio, there is kinetic. You can interact with the chemicals, the things you are learning. All right. The other thing is you will have a better ability to memorize, because it is more interesting. It has the ability to be less boring, more captivating. Therefore, students' ability to have more attention span and more motivation is important, and multiple distractions are blocked. After wearing your VR, you will not be tempted to check your social media or other distractions. Therefore, it blocks lots of distractions. Okay, this is one example. Khalid.
Paper, will you help me? Let's take a closer look. What part of the solar system are we talking about?
Saturn. If you were taking astrophysics, you could study in the metaverse.
Did you know the rings are made up of billions of icy particles?
Really?
Look at this.
I have cut the videos to make them short, so you can go to YouTube and search for virtual reality education innovations. You can find this is advertisement by Facebook on their metaverse. I think I've seen some Facebook virtual reality in this room. I think they can show you when you come sometime. I think this is futuristic. I'm not sure how the technology has reached to this level. Again, I'm sure the future will be like this. Okay, examples of application, we can use it in language classes. You can invite native English speakers into your virtual environment, and you can make your students interact with them. You can learn history by traveling in time to Roman times, for example. You can watch wars happening around you in 3D. You can use them in engineering. You can virtually build buildings. In natural science, you can use them in laboratories. In astronomy, as you saw, you can see the space. You can learn about the space. In distance education, you can invite your students in similar class, and you can talk, lecture with them. Let me conclude, because I don't have much time. So, in Western countries, it is already being experimented on, and you can find number of virtual schools in US and in America and Europe. You can find them on YouTube or other, if you want to see what they are doing. And now, in Ethiopia, even though virtual environments, immersive technologies are not new, I don't think they will come to replace the traditional online education or distance education or face-to-face education, but they have big potential to transform learning, and those who can afford them. I'm talking about those who can afford them. They are potential market. We can attract lots of rich children of rich people into our college by introducing virtual realities in our classrooms. So it attracts us, and this economically strong population is a potential market, a good market target one. So what I'm saying is educational institutions should start thinking about the benefits of immersive technologies, and colleges, universities should encourage their students to enter into the development of application development, software development for virtual environments, for immersive technologies, and being aware is important. Now, this is my conclusion. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone. Just to go to the points, the purpose is to unveil the ecological sensitivity and responsiveness of e-learning, electronic learning to teaching and learning in higher education. At this point, I would like to say only about the ecology, the human ecology and the physical ecology. That's over. And the key questions were on the purpose. First of all, how are purposes for the use of e-learning communicated? Communication of purpose. The second is, how do the purposes, how are the purposes endeavored to be met in higher education? And then how does the e-learning situation respond to diversity in use, diversity in quotation? Because students are different, the physical setup itself is different, but how responsive is that to the higher education situation, including the subject areas, people's qualifications and students' backgrounds? Save the difference in setting, rural, urban, well-to-do families, and I can't say poor, because we are very rich, yes, in Ethiopia, you know that. We don't talk about the digital divide. Let me directly go to the results. With regard to purpose orientation of e-learning, the orientation of purpose was non-existent in most of the cases. That means supplies were there to some extent, but the users did not know, they did not get due orientation on what to do, both teachers and students. And the second point, availability of e-learning resources. Internet was the highest, as witnessed based on the experiences of the users. PowerPoint presentation was the second, and some films was used, as you see here. For the interest of time, I should leap to the rest points. Then, let me go to the barriers. In the first place, shortage of internet pools, centers. And the second, disorderliness of the use process. And the third, lack of focus on the part of users, where instead the challenge. And ICT pools in the target universities, as I said, were pooled around the site of the administrators than the users, the target users, the students. I don't know what it is in St. Mary University. The second is regarding let me bypass again the discussion and go to the finding and recommendation, especially because my time is very short. More attention was given to the mental, physical facilities than the mental facilities. The mental faculties were less attentive or less attentively treated. The second, lack of methodological induction. That means relating to how the students happened and were destined to practice learning with the technology, even with the least threshold of availability. And then use of complementary instructional resources. Instead of just focusing on one, diversifying and taking some to be supportive to the rest. Say, for example, PowerPoint was mostly used, but there was no support in case that there was power failure. Most of you may have faced these problems. You go to class with notes in the PowerPoint form, and with power failure, you may have left the classes. So contingent support system was not in place. The third is lack of focus on multiple training exchange. I'm not sure if teachers in higher education can move to other universities and observe how technology is used in others, say in Haramaya. I, on my part, have served in the universities for 16 years, but I've never been to lectures in Jimma University or Haramaya. Have you ever been to Rift Valley University to exchange experiences? If this is so, this may be a very setup, the takeoff for my next research. So what's to be done? This is my recommendation. University pedagogic and information technology support and exchange centers must be reset and reestablished. You may ask me why. In most universities, including my research area, ICT center is under administration, not under academia. And the workers, with all the coordinators, do not have any heed about academic exchange. They take it as administrative. Sometimes you go and find the gates locked, even for support. That means the biggest resource is locked in. It cannot be dispensed well outside. So for whom is as that ICT, that e-learning, that computer there? It's locked in already in quality prison cell, I can say, like my people. Skill-based e-learning training sessions should be extended for the staff on progressive basis. Because in my research and in my experiences, I've never seen training on how to use ICT resources and e-learning resources productively. Large scale and progressive interchange among universities should be there, experiential exchange. And finally, conformity to the pillars, academia, research, and community engagement works should be kept in place. Thank you very much.
My question goes to Lamasguno and of course Dr. Ndalo. The first question to Lamasguno is, all right, it's just one. Thank you for bringing this issue to us, because this is a time where we should discuss, all right, issues of emerging technologies. But given our context, all right, the context where Ethiopia is found in, how practical is it to bring these innovations, all right, to school environment, to education environment, like, you know, most, all right, public institutions? Of course, there is resource, I know, but is it really feasible to bring this into our context, or is there any possible way you suggest they should come into the scene?
My major question is about innovation. Innovation is starting from, it is a Schumpeterian word, innovation is quite long term. You mentioned that the meaning of innovation is given by OSAID in details. It has its own parts. The technological innovation incorporates the product and the process of any country involved in the technological innovation. Whereas the non-technological innovation is the marketing or traditional aspects. Have you ever integrated your modality with this OSAID meaning, that is, which one is related with the operate product innovation? Because when you explain, when you say technological innovation, I think you must use the word what clearly defined by this European Commission or OSAID or what should be. So have you ever tried to check the product in the process in separate ways? This is my question.
Thank you. Let me start from the first question. Is isolation really a problem? Was the question. And I think it depends from, I have skipped my theoretical frameworks. It might have helped. From the constructivist perspective, I think self-learning is important and stressed. But recently, the connectivist approach is becoming important, and the interaction between students, the interaction between knowledge creation in group, knowledge creation at organizational level also are getting attached, and I think that one is missing.
Try new ways of doing, because it is hard to do things all the time differently, but in a different way. The other is techno-aware. Can we maintain, in case there is defect, something fails, can the users maintain the wearing aspect? There is wear and tear in every type of resource use, and technology is not immune to this. Can the users, is it really within the mandate of the academia, the teachers, the researchers? Or do they go around searching for someone to help them when problem comes at their gate and pokes its nose? That's the question. And the rest concern is, yes, it's expensive when it comes to the hardware.